Hello viewers, welcome to Kids Auto and Truck Repair. Today we have a 2008 BMW 5 Series. This vehicle is a friend's car. My friend is planning on buying this car, but before he buys it, he wants me to check it out to see if it's worth buying. So he brought this vehicle to us so we can look at it before he buys the Beamer. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to check a vehicle before you purchase it. Now, it's always good to take a car to a mechanic, especially if you're buying it used, to take it to a mechanic so they can check it out for you before you purchase it. So now, let's get under the hood so we can see if this BMW is worth buying. So let's see. So first thing that catches my attention is this oil leak over here. So it looks like we have an oil leak around this oil filter housing. There's oil over here. So when someone brings a vehicle to me to inspect before they buy it, I always like to look under the hood first. So what I'm looking for is wet spots from oil or coolant. So let's check the coolant level. Let's see if there's enough coolant in this surge tank. Actually, the coolant level is low. Okay, there's green coolant in it, so it looks like someone put the wrong type coolant in this surge tank. Okay, so it's low on coolant, and then there is a leak over here. Now the valve cover gasket seems fine. Okay. So now let's lift up the vehicle. Actually, before we lift up the vehicle, let's walk around it first. The brakes look rusty. Now the body looks pretty okay. It doesn't have any dents. So the back seat looks pretty good. It's a little bit dirty inside, but nothing too crazy. Okay. So body wise, it's pretty good. It looks like it came from New Jersey. The paint is chipped over here, a little bit right here. Let's see if we can open the trunk. We're gonna have to push the button. Let's see what we have in the trunk. Okay, so it's a pretty large trunk, pretty empty. Okay, not too bad. But I don't like the oil leak that we saw under the hood. Okay, so the body doesn't look too bad. Okay, so I already got it on the lift because I wanted to look under the car and see how it looks underneath. Okay, so the body of the car doesn't look too bad. Now I'm going to show you the back of the hood. So the paint on the hood looks good. So now let's raise up the vehicle. So we got the vehicle up in the air. So let's check underneath. Oh, check this out. Everything is wet down here. There is a big oil leak under the car. Look at this. Oh man. I mean, if he buys this car, he's gonna have to put a lot of money into it from the get-go to fix all these leaks. So the control arms seem fine. I don't like how wet it is down over here. So there's a huge oil leak coming from somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but we're here just to check it out. So we're not diagnosing anything, but we're just checking. So our tie rod, pretty solid. Sway bar links. So check this out. The boot on the drive axle is torn. You see there's grease over here. So this axle has to be replaced. Okay, that axle needs to come out. And then over here, so all this area is wet. And we have oil back here around the back of the transmission oil pan. Check this out. So it looks like the transmission oil pan gasket is leaking. You see how my finger got wet? Okay, so he has a couple of oil leaks down here. So transmission fluid leaking from the transmission oil pan gasket. Okay, so now if this were your car, or if you were trying to buy a car, would you buy this? Now, I don't know about you, but I would not buy this. Although we haven't looked at everything yet, but since this is a BMW, maintaining these BMWs is not cheap. The parts are expensive, the labor is expensive, so I'm not going to recommend buying this. Okay, so the back doesn't look too bad. Actually, it's pretty dry back here. Okay, the exhaust system seems pretty solid. So the exhaust system is not bad. All right, but what I don't like is all these leaks over here. Okay, so we saw underneath there are a bunch of oil leaks down here. Now the suspension looks pretty good. In terms of suspension, I don't really see a problem. Now I didn't drive the car, so I just put it on the lift and I told him I will do a quick check. And then the brakes, let me see if I can see the thickness of the pads. I can feel the pads. I mean, the rotors are rusted out, but the pads are not too thin, so not too bad. So same thing back here. It looks like the rear pads were replaced not too long ago. But it looks like this car has been sitting because these rotors are really rusted out. Okay, so now let's lower the car so we can connect a scan tool to it to see if we have any codes in the engine computer. This is what we have. So whoever had this car was pretty dirty because there's a lot of dirt in the car, and then I see it's wet over here. You see that? It looks like there's water over here. So that's not a good sign. Okay, so this over here is water. So we might have a leaking evaporator plenum. or a leak up here on the windshield. So that's not a good sign right there. So that's water there. Okay, so I have my scan tool over here. This passenger seat doesn't look too bad. It's not torn. Okay. Man, I'm not gonna recommend this car. So let's turn the key on so we can scan the engine computer. Okay, so my friend is not buying this. I'm gonna tell him not to buy this. So I'm gonna turn the key on. Actually, let me start. I'm gonna turn the key on. Actually, let me start it first. Let's listen to it. So as you can hear, the engine is running. The engine is shaking a little bit. Okay. Let's go under the hood and listen to the engine as it's running. Now, the check engine light is not on because sometimes people remove the bulb. Let me turn the key off. Let's see if the check engine light illuminates when we turn the key on. Okay, so check engine light comes on right there, so that's good. Because I've seen people remove that check engine light bulb. Okay, so check engine light goes off, but I feel a little bit of a shake, kind of like a misfire. So let's go under the hood. Listen to this. Does this sound good? It's shaking a little bit. There's a little bit of a ticking noise coming from the valve cover area. Once again, I'm just doing a quick look, so we're not really diving into this and removing covers and checking, you know, so I'm just doing a quick inspection. So yeah, this is not worth buying, guys. I'm not going to recommend this. So let's go back in the car. Actually, the exhaust of this car stinks. It stinks so badly. So let's turn off the engine. I'm going to turn the key on. So now let's bring up our scan tool. All right, I got the scan tool connected to the vehicle. I'm going to bring it up. So let's see what we got. So right there, the scan tool has identified the vehicle, 2008 BMW 5 Series, so 535xi with a 3.0 liter. So let's click OK. Let's do a code scan. Let's scan all the control units on the vehicle and see what we got. So here's what we have in the engine computer. We have 6 trouble codes in the engine computer. So first code is 29E1. It says mixture control 2. And then we have misfire codes. Combustion misfire on cylinder 6. Combustion misfire on cylinder 3. Because the engine is shaking. And then, so we have misfire codes. The last code is charging pressure control, boost pressure too low. This code can be caused by a leak in the intake manifold or other things. So as you can see, so right off the bat, if he buys this car, he's going to have to put money into it. This BMW has oil leaks, misfire codes, low boost codes. Let's see what other codes we have. Brake fluid level too low. This is probably because of brake pads being worn out, or maybe the switch on the master cylinder, tire pressure, steering angle sensor plausibility. So as you can see, we have 2 codes in the air conditioning control unit. Okay, so we have a couple codes here. Yeah, no, he's not buying this. So we have a LIN code on the generic side of the tool. Okay, so yeah, this is too much. So many codes. Let's get the scan tool out of the way. I'm gonna start the engine again. Let's turn on the AC. Let's see if the AC works. I mean, the AC works. I should have brought a thermometer here so I can show you, but just take my word for it. I feel cold air coming out of here, so the AC works. All right, but I'm not gonna recommend buying this car just because the AC works, okay? Based on all the codes we have in the engine computer and the oil leaks and the brakes and everything, no, it's not worth it. Okay, he can get a better car. And then this car has how many miles on this? Let's see, 157,000. So 157,330. It's not too bad, but no. Since it's a Beamer, no, it's gonna be too much for him. I'm not gonna recommend it. So let's turn off the engine. We're done. Let's go out so we can wrap up this video. All right, guys, that's it. I'm gonna leave this right over here. I'm not gonna recommend this BMW. It's not worth buying. I'm gonna tell my friend not to buy it. I'm glad he brought it to me to check it out first. So with all the oil leaks that this BMW has, with the codes that it has in the engine computer, it's not worth it because the parts for this car are expensive. The labor is expensive. Now, he told me how much the owner of this BMW is selling it for. So he told me how much he was gonna pay for this, but it's not worth it because as soon as he buys it, he's gonna have to put a lot of money into it to get it fixed. So we might find other issues after we take all these covers off. So I'm not gonna recommend it. I'm gonna tell him to pass on this. I'm gonna tell him to keep looking. Eventually he's gonna find something good. So this is not worth it. I'm gonna leave it right over here. I hope you liked the video. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give it a thumb down. But if you do, you gotta tell me why so we can make better videos in the future. If this is your first time here, subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. If you have any comments, questions, criticism, leave them in the comment box. Thanks for watching. See you next time.